What's up, Grace Girls? Welcome to the Allow Yourself Grace podcast, where we focus on helping Black women change their lives by discarding negative thoughts, pivoting in the right direction, and shifting their mindset through cultivating a trauma free lifestyle. I'm your host, Courtney Christten, educator, content creator, life coach, counselor, and mental health enthusiast living in Houston, Texas. I created the Allow Yourself Grace podcast because I wanted to create a space for Black women to share their thoughts, feelings, and stories that make them who they are without fear of judgment. Allow Yourself Grace provides emotional support and encouragement within the Grace Girls community for women in need of non biased opinions from women other than family and friends. Personal development, self care, career, faith are among many of the topics we will discuss on this platform. Allow Yourself Grace podcast is here to encourage Black women to live unapologetically and thrive in being authentically who they are and were designed to be an entire vibe. No topics are off limits. We will cover it all. Now, grab a notebook, pen, sit back, and enjoy the show.
What's up, Grace Girls? Welcome back to another episode of the Allow Yourself Grace podcast, where we dive into topics that inspire your growth. Okay? All right. So let's get into the episode. We're going to be talking about embracing self commitment, right? And choosing to show up for yourself. Okay? Because if you don't show up for you, who's going to show up for you? Okay? You got to show up for yourself. It's about embracing commitment, prioritizing your well being, and taking ownership of your journey. All right. I'm a big advocate, guys, for taking ownership of your actions, of your journey, of your life. Okay. So many times we find ourselves playing the blame game. And when I say the blame game, it's like we blame everybody else but ourselves for what's going on in our lives, what's happening in our lives. Like it's literally everybody else's fault but ours. You ever met someone like that? Every time you talk to them, they're just kind of like, well, if my mom would have did this, if my dad would have did this, well, I've been through this. And they kind of use that as an excuse for not being successful, for not being an asset to the environment. Because let's be clear, there's a ton of people out here who should not be walking around. Like, you should be somewhere where you're supervised. Let's just say that. All right, let's define self commitment and let's talk about the importance of self commitment. So, when you self commit, that means that no matter what, you're going to make sure that you prosper. You're going to make sure that you add value wherever you go. You are committed to your growth. You are dedicated to your growth. You are dedicated to wherever it is you're trying to go. You're dedicated to your own personal development. That means showing up for you. That means every day I'm putting in 100% to get, if I'm not going to obtain it today, that means I'm going to work towards obtaining the goal. I'm going to give 100% to get what I want to get out of life. I'm not going to use excuses. I'm not going to use the people in my life as a clutch for me to say, oh, well, I don't have this because of this, or I didn't get to do this because of this. Not to say that none of those things are true, but what are you going to do to change it? When are you going to take ownership over your own life? When are you going to take your life back? It's time. Okay. Many of us are in our 20s, we're in our 30s, some of us even in our 40s and 50s that I'm looking at my analytics and you guys are viewing my channel. And some of you guys are at a place in your life where you're just genuinely not happy with where you are. And so, my question that I pose to you today is what are you going to do to change it? What are you going to do to change your current situation? Okay? We're I'm not talking about posting about it. I'm not talking about getting everybody else's opinion on what they think you should do. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? And when are you going to take ownership for the role that you actively play? The role that you actively play. Some of you guys are still playing this role of victim. Okay. So when are you going to take ownership for the role and the things that you actively do on a daily to contribute toward you not gaining momentum toward where you want to be? Like complaining and blaming what happened to you in the past and, you know, not being able to move forward, all of those things are things that you have the power and only you have the power to change. And if you're committed to show up for yourself, you're going to show up every single day. You're going to give 100% because many of us show up for other people. We show up to jobs. We show up for our children, we show up for our parents, show up for our brother or sister, all these other things and all these other people we show up for, but we fail to show up for ourselves. Once you show up for yourself, you will have the ability to show up for everyone else. So if you feel like I'm drained, I'm tired, I'm tired, why do I always have to be over here? I have to be over there. I mean, it's too much. It's probably because you're forgetting to show up for you. Recognize that you have the power of choice. You have the power to choose where you are and where you want to go. You have that power. God has given us that power. He's given us that freedom and that power to choose how we want our lives to go. So if you don't like something about your life, change it. How every decision is a choice to either support or neglect ourselves. Every decision, it's a choice. Every time I make a decision, which we make many decisions throughout the day, it's a choice. I get to choose whether I want to listen to someone. I get to choose whether I want to get up every day and go to work. There's people who don't go. They don't go. But look at the results of not going. Let's look at that too. So we all have choices. We all have choices. And that's not to say that we're not going to experience hardship, because hardship will come. It will come. It's how you choose to navigate it that's going to determine how much power you really have. Overcome the fear of change, embrace the power of choice. Embrace it. Realize that it is there. So if I don't like something, I have to come up with a game plan on how I'm going to change it. I have to go and seek knowledge for somebody who is already where I want to be. I have to step out of my comfort zone and take chances. I have to make investments, whether it's time, whether it's money. These are all things I have to do to make sure I show up for me. So every day that I choose to go work out, every day that I choose to go put in work, every day that I choose to pick up a book, every day that I choose to invest in me, it's a choice. So don't get mad at someone else for their progress and for their success because you made the choice not to put in the work. And stop feeling like someone is obligated to help you, because they're really not. They're not obligated. Now, if they help you out of the kindness of their heart, amazing. But what are you going to do for you? What are you going to do for you? So that's question one. Question two is, how are you going to show up for you? Two different questions. How are you going to show up for you? Okay, you're expecting everybody else to show up for you. How are you going to show up for you? Period. Period. Your name should mean so much to you that You want to show up with class, you want to show up with grace, you want to show up with authority, you want to show up with a presence that people feel when you enter the room. And so, in order to do that, there's some things that you personally are going to have to do in order to get there. It's not given to you. Okay. It takes work, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes being open minded and also having an open heart, being kind to other people. We all want to receive things. We all want to receive love. We all want to receive gifts. We all want to have money. We want to have cars. We want to live in a nice house. These are all things that we want. And it's like receiving, receiving, receiving. But what are we willing to give? What are we willing to do in order to get ourselves to where we need to be? And stop expecting what you're not willing to give from other people. The next thing is cultivating self awareness. The role of self awareness is making intentional choices. Every choice that I make is intentional. It's intentional. I'm doing it with intent, the intent to progress, the intent to finish something, the intent to grow. Like there's always an intention, a pure one, but there's always an intention. So making intentional choices, not making a choice because that's what so and so said you should do, not making a choice because your mom or dad felt like that was the best idea for you. Making intentional choices for you, not always depending on people to make choices for you. Sometimes we have to say, okay, I choose this because somebody's not answering the phone, somebody's not around. In that moment, you need to make a choice. It's the same way with your life. Your life is in your hands. We're all, as my grandma used to say growing up, we're all on borrowed time. Like tomorrow's not promised, the next moment, the next second is not promised. What choice are you going to make in order to make sure that you get what you want out of life? What choices are you going to make? Who are you going to help? How much kindness are you going to put out into the world in order to receive it? Like, we focus so much on it's not fair or it should be given to me or you should help me. These things, we focus so much on that we don't think about what we should be doing for ourselves. And when you're given the opportunity, when someone helps you and they give you an opportunity, be grateful. Be grateful. Be thankful. Show that you are thankful. Show that you are grateful. Like gratitude is so important. The next thing is nurturing self compassion. The importance of self compassion in the journey of self commitment is often overlooked. It's often overlooked. Um, Seek knowledge for how to be compassionate on yourself because unfortunately many of us didn't grow up with that being on display. We grew up where it was like these are the things you're supposed to do. Who really taught you how to show compassion towards yourself? And I think the ultimate demonstration of compassion is so prevalent during this season of the year because God just displayed that for us. He really, really did. He put it on display for us to see. Being able to knock down barriers and stay committed to yourself is one of the greatest things that you can accomplish as a human being. Being able to tear down those barriers in your mind that tell you you can't do it, that tell you, oh, well, this is in your way. Like being able to suppress the feeling of I don't have the tools to be successful. My mom wasn't successful. My dad wasn't successful. My brother's not successful. Like being able to suppress all of the negativity is overcoming a barrier and staying committed and true to who you are and who you know you were designed and called to be. Once you conquer that, like, oh my God, like the doors will open. That's the major part of showing up for yourself. Being able to conquer that negative mindset. Being negative is the easiest thing to do, but being positive is so hard. It is so hard. It's easy to lay down in the bed a little longer. It's easy to not work out that day. It's easy to go drive through the drive-through at McDonald's. Like whenever we have to put in extra effort to do something, a lot of us don't do it. Let's be clear, we don't do it. We don't do it. We make the choice to just not do it that day. And to me, that's not showing up. And so these are conversations that I have with myself daily. So it may seem like, well, dang, you're mean or you're blunt or you don't have to put it like that. But it's like, no, many of you need it like that. Like straight with no chaser. That's the way you need it because all this, oh, well, you can do it tomorrow. Oh, well, it's okay. Everybody does it. That's the problem. That is the problem. That is exactly why you're not getting the results you want to get. And so, as much as it sucks to be responsible every day and to come and put 100%, it sucks. There's going to be days that it just sucks. Like you don't want to do it, but that's okay. It's okay because I'm doing it for me. Okay. I'm doing it for me because I know I have to. I have to in order to get where I want to be, where I can look back a year from now and be like, I remember, man, I was suffering. Not anymore. In order to get to that point, and we talked about this in the last episode. So if you haven't listened to the last episode, go back and listen because they're all kind of gonna connect. But if you're not doing that, you're not gonna progress. Okay? If you're not doing it, you're not gonna progress. And that's just what it is. Overcoming the barriers to self-commitment. Number 6. I have an episode on this actually. Number 6, I have an episode on celebrating progress and growth. The significance of acknowledging and celebrating small victories. And yeah, if you haven't listened to the episode, go back and listen to it. But I talk about celebrating the small things, the wins. Like it may not be something large, but, or let's just say it may not be large to you, but you don't know who it can help, who it can inspire by you celebrating your wins, cultivating a mindset of gratitude and appreciation for your growth. And I kind of got ahead of myself on that one because I was so excited about it because we're so ungrateful. One of the main things I love about traveling to other countries is that everyone's so grateful. Everyone's just so thankful when you tip or that you're there and they're just so, how can I serve you? And they're welcoming. And here comes us entitled Americans in other countries, and we're just like, oh, well, they don't need a tip, or oh, can I have this? Oh, you're taking too long, or oh, they don't have this. Like we find everything to complain about, and we're in paradise. Like I literally studied that when I was at an all-inclusive resort, and I'm like, wow, we're sitting here in freaking paradise. Like you can look out and see the water so blue, the sand is white. People are relaxing. Like to be able to do that is such a blessing. But yet you got somebody over here complaining about them not getting their drink on time or the food not being the way they think it should be. And it's like, man, we're all human. We all make mistakes. I'm not saying you shouldn't get what you want, but it's a way to do anything. And how you do everything is how you do anything. And some of y'all gonna catch that later. How you do everything is how you do anything. Okay? That's it. Like give 100% at everything that you do. Period. Period. If you lack on one thing, I'm not going to trust you to do something else. I'm not going to trust you to do multiple things because your character is determined by how you do everything. Like, I give 100% everything at everything. Are there times that I slack? Yes. But I'm going to show up and I'm going to do something. The problem is people don't want to show up for anything. They just want everything to magically come, and I'm going to magically manifest this life that I want. Manifest the life you want. And I'm not saying I don't believe in manifestation, but I believe that in order to manifest, there has to be some action behind it. And so if you're not going to show up for you, how the hell you gonna manifest something? Like, please let me know. When you know, drop that in the comments so I can know because you have to put in work, period. And putting in work is showing up every single day and giving it all you got for you, not for anybody else. One thing about me, I'm not gonna let anybody stop my money. Okay, I'm not gonna let anybody interfere in what I got going on because you will get blocked out. You will get blocked out if you're gonna come over here and try to interfere in how my ship is being ran. Okay? Because I gotta do what's best for me, and vice versa. You should feel like you gotta do what's best for you. And showing up for yourself is what's best for you. So take a moment to reflect. How have you shown up for you lately? Think about it. How have you shown up for you? What milestones have you achieved? Look at that vision board that's been on your wall. What have you achieved on that vision board recently? Because let's be clear, some of us have things on our vision board that have literally been on our vision board year after year after year after year because we think we're going to magically manifest that thing. It don't work like that. You think it's going to come to pass because you put it on that vision board and you haven't done anything throughout these days to ensure that you accomplish that goal that's on that board. Think about it. We're all guilty of it. I'm not ever claiming to be perfect, but what I am claiming to do is I made a promise to myself that I'm going to show up for me every single day. Because until I become the best version of me, I can't be the best version of me for anyone else. Show up for you, period. Yourself has to be a non negotiable. It just has to be. It has to be. Choosing to show up for yourself is a journey of self discovery, empowerment, and growth. It's about making a conscious decision to prioritize your well being, pursue your goals, and embrace your worthiness. Remember, every step you take towards self commitment is a step towards creating a life that aligns with their values and aspirations. So, my challenge for you today is to keep showing up for yourself because you're worth it. And that's how God designed it to be. You're worth it. So if you feel worthless, if you feel like I can't do it, if you feel like, oh, they're smarter than me, they're faster than me, they have more than me, stop. Just stop. Silence those thoughts. And I want you to replace those thoughts with, I am worthy. I can do this. I have enough. I have more than enough. Because once you do that and you put action behind that and you truly start to believe that, you have no choice but to win. You have no choice but to win. You're going to be extra motivated to get up every day and show up for yourself. You're going to be like, oh my God. Wow, I accomplished so much this year. Wow, I accomplished a lot this month. Man, I'm celebrating win after win. And it seems like when you start winning, baby, you don't stop. You don't stop because guess what? Once you get one win, you're like, man, I got to go do something else. I got to go put in some more work. Oh, I got this. It's like the ideas start to flow. Everything is like, wow, let's go. Let's get it. Let's go. And then guess what? You start to attract people that are like you. And don't let y'all team up. It's over. It's over. I love being around a group of people where it's like, man, they're winning, they're winning. Everybody's winning in their own way. So amazing. It's so amazing. Like, it's just mind-boggling to be around. And I think the Black community right now, we're finally starting. There's a group of us, I'm not gonna say everybody, that that is finally starting to like see it. The light bulb has turned on and they're like, okay, it's go time. They're making investments, they're growing. We have a lot of Black millionaires, billion, and maybe a couple billionaires. Like people are actually figuring it out. And so choosing to show up for yourself, all it takes is showing up and figuring it out. Like we're all literally figuring it out every single day. But the day you choose not to do that is the day you make the decision to continue to be where you are. And it's kind of like a flat line. Like when they unplug that machine at the hospital that sometimes people are on for life support and stuff like that, when they unplug that and you see that little line go beep, it's flat. It's kind of like that. When you make the choice not to show up for yourself every day, this is you every day, every day, every day. You like this. It don't do this. When it's on, it does this. It does this. It doesn't do that. When they unplug it, all you hear is beep. It's flat. And I'm sorry, I can't do that. And I'm challenging you not to do that. I'm challenging you to show up for you every single day in some capacity. Show up for you because you're worth it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Allow Yourself Grace podcast. Please make sure that you're following us on IG at AYG underscore Allow Yourself Grace. Also, too, make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Go ahead and hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I drop a new episode. Also, thank you so much. Shout out to my studio, OM2H Creative Studios, for producing my podcast. If you are not following us on Instagram at the studio, go ahead and do that. We're at OM2H Creative Studios. I will have the link down below in the show notes so that you guys can go and do that. If you are interested in starting your own podcast, definitely go and check out what we have to offer. Right now, if you're in Houston, we have the best deal in the city. Okay, 4 hours of content for $285. All your editing's done. You come in, you be the talent while we do the work. Thank you guys so much, so much. I love y'all. I love y'all. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Well, guys, that concludes our episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Allow Yourself Grace podcast. For additional information about today's episode, please click the link in the show notes below. To learn more about our Grace Girls community and other resources we have to offer, head over to www.allowyourselfgrace.com. Until next time, Grace Girls, I love you all, be blessed, and continue to strive for success.